What's up, guys, coaches, students? How's everyone doing? Today's lecture is going to be on drawing screens or a screen in the FastDraw program. So I just wanted to start off and review a little bit what we did last time. So you know that this is the first screen you're going to come to. Instead of doing a video this time, I found a image off the internet of a very detailed FastDraw playbook. I put the link to the picture at the bottom for copyright issues. One, you guys know that this isn't my image, and this picture came from someone else's playbook. So the most important thing that we need to do is make sure we bring up the FastDraw program. And although yours isn't going to be as detailed as this, in the top left corner it's going to say draw. Make sure that's clicked. And then from on this PowerPoint, I circled everything, all the steps you need to do. So the first thing you need to do is draw a new half court play. That's important because if you click on full court play, then it's going to bring up the entire court, which takes away from all the details that a half court play. It makes it a little bit bigger so your guys can see all the cuts and all the angles of the screens and so on and so forth. So now that that's taken care of, we're going to move on to what I believe is the most important part of the play. Now, as you can see in this program, in their playbook, they have tons of plays. This is, I believe, from the LA Lakers, since all the plays are Laker plays, but it could also be from teams that scout the Lakers, and they have all their plays in and what they do. So what you first do, and in most cases you're going to be scouting teams, is you want to label what team the play is for. So say the Lakers are playing the Spurs, you want to make sure you go to the Spurs, type in Spurs, and the correct year, because every year teams change plays and you got to have the right year so you know what they're doing from year to year. Now, I believe the most important play call, or the most important thing, is giving the play a simple play call name. So for this instance, it's called a chin screen, but there's a chin and then a ball screen. But for your guys' sake, knowing that simple is better when you're doing scouting and in practice, you want to make sure it's simple. So chin is going to be the name of this play. So the first thing you're going to need to do when you create a new play is put all 5 players on the court. So you're going to go to the positions section, which is in the left middle side of the page, which is circled, and you're going to click 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, so those are going to put the players out on the court. The ones that are circled, that means that the ball is in their hand. So say you want the point guard, like in this picture, to start with the ball, you're going to click 1 with the circle, and then go down to the third row where it's the regular players and click 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now, just like I explained last time, the X and then the number means that those players are on defense, but a lot of coaches don't use it because it kind of just muddies up the entire little image of the play. It just makes it a little more too confusing. If they're in man-to-man, you're going to know that each player is going to have a defender in front of them. So since this is on making a screenplay, we got to decide who's going to set the screen. So based off film, what you watched, or a play that you're just creating by yourself, you're going to need to know that the 5-man, who is their center, is going to be setting the play. That's important because you're going to need to know, what he does after he sets the screen, etc. So this is the most important step because this is the step where you're going to add what type of screen it is. So for example, in the first frame, there's going to be a straight screen by the center, the 5-man. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go to the screen drop down menu on the left, the little space where all the screens are, and you're going to select what type of screens there are. This is important because screens come from anywhere on the court, and they can come from any angle, or there's different type of screens such as a flex screen, a back screen, a down screen, a flare screen, all these screens, and they're all set different ways. So the best way to realistically show your team and your players and other coaches what type of screen it is to pick the right selection here. So for example, number 5, he's going to be on the elbow, the right elbow. That's where the free throw line meets the line where the players stand for the free throws. So he's going to be there, and by the look of this diagram, it's probably going to be 1 or 2 steps, and then he's going to try to hit the point guard's man, the 1, after he passes it, so the 1 can cut to the basket and score with ease. But like I said, this is very important because your players need to know what's happening, and the best way to do this is by showing them the correct angle the screen's coming from, and with this, you'll have the best chance of winning. If your players can visualize before the play is going to happen what type of screen and cuts is going to go on, it's going to be very helpful. But screens are very important because that's the best way to get someone open. So if you can defend while having your man while a teammate is getting hit by a screen, then you can win because no one's going to be open for prolonged periods of time. So that's why in the drop down menu you have to select the correct one. The next step is going to add the other type of movements into the play. So for example, you're going to need the players to pass the ball and cut. So for each cut, there's going to be different types. So as you can see in the little menu on the left hand side, there's straight cuts and a curve, or straight pass and a curve pass. So for example, curves like a skip pass, something that goes across the court. But just like the screens, there's going to be like angled screens and straight screens. There's going to be different type of cuts. So you need to make sure you label this all correctly so that your players can know exactly what's going to be happening in the play. I can speak from firsthand experience that this is really important because if we can visualize what's going to happen while we're watching, like if we get the plays and then watch the film, we're going to have a better idea of what's actually going to happen during the game. So, for example, the point guard, the 1 is going to throw a pass to number 2, a straight pass, and then he's going to run off a regular screen, a straight screen, not a curved screen, not an S screen. It's a straight screen, and he's going to run a curved cut. So he's going to take his make like a little U shape to get to the ball. But this is really important to make sure the play is labeled 100% correctly. So this might be my favorite section. It's circled down below the frame, but coaches can add notes to the play and mention any specifics which you have seen the other team do or what you want your team to do when they're running the play. So particularly when scouting, say number 1, the point guard will pass to the 2, and then as he goes to the screen, he will reject and come back to the ball. So you can add this in the note section, or you can just easily state what the players are going to be doing. So, for example, in this one, it says 1 passes to the 2, 2 passes to the 3, 5 5 sets a screen for number 1, 1 to the low block, 3 pass to the 1. So this is how the play is supposed to be set up. So if your players can read these notes, simply just by typing it in, what you saw the other team do, they'll be better prepared for defending the other team. I think this is easily the most important section because any details that you can give your team will completely change the outcome of the game if they know the plays like basically they're their own. I think the last step of drawing screenplays is getting to the next frame without the players moving. So to make sure the ball lands in the correct player's hands when you move to the next frame and their cuts are already made, you're going to click the button in the middle that is circled, and that's going to move all the players to the next frame as if they set screens and cut, etc. So as you can see in frame number 2, all the players are basically where they are in frame 1 after the movement. So as number 5 sets another screen, which is important because what type of screen is it? It's another straight screen. He's going to set a flare cut for the 2 guard, and then they're going to look, as you can see in the notes, 3 flare or 5 flare screen 2, and 3 throws the ball to the 2 for a shot. So that means that this play they're going to either look for the 1 to be wide open or for the 2 guards to shoot it. But screens are very important to get correct, and this is why I'm taking a bunch of time to explain in much detail. Make sure you look carefully at the screen menu, and say number 5, the 5-man in this was setting a curve screen. So he was coming from below and setting a curve screen. Then the flare screen would be curved, which is important because it's coming from a different angle. So screens in FastDraw can be used all the time, and they will be used all the time because basketball is played with screens. And I think that it is important that we get them right as coaches so our players have the best chance of winning. Now, as a little review for this lesson, I'm gonna ask a couple questions, and then you're gonna answer them and send them to me. You can listen to this presentation as many times as you want to get the correct answer, but I want to know what is the most important part of drawing a play. Drawing a play doesn't necessarily mean drawing it, but in the whole process of drawing a play, what is the most important? The second question is, why does it matter what type of screen it is? I've explained myself plenty of times why I think screens are important and why they matter. So give me your best interpretation of why you think screens and properly labeling them in the FastDraw program is going to help. Lastly, what should coaches enjoy about the notes section? This is a free answer. I've given my opinion on why I think it is, but I want to hear what you guys think is important about using the notes and what you could do to help the roles of your players. Now that's it for this lesson, and I wanted to sign off by saying I hope you guys complete your work, and the next section will be up next week.